The Thuli Centre for Responsible Leadership at the University of Pretoria. Great to have you with us. Mr. Hlophe, so this is significant. Is it mainly because of the Communist Party going on its own?
Well, it is significant, but not ideologically. The idea of this of the Communist Party going it alone and contesting for election does not reflect an ideological stance. I think it's a case of a number of members of the SACP believing that they are not getting access to higher positions within the alliance that would allow them to be councillors or mayors and all of that, to a point where it sounds better for them to contest these positions directly on their own. For me, that's the unfortunate part, because it does not mark an ideological stance on the part of the SACP. It's just access to municipal positions.
And in terms of the alliance, is this the final nail in the coffin, or is this an attempt to say to the ANC, treat us better? Because I see the president rushed there when this happened.
Look, the alliance has been, for quite a while, has been non-existent on a substantive levels. It has been dead in terms of organizational alliance, but it's been alive in terms of the particular leaders within the various parts of the alliance are working together, which is not so much a reflection of a substantive alliance. It has been for quite some time a case of which dominant faction within the ANC has alliance with particular individuals in the SACP or COSAD. So the substance of it has been non-existent for quite a while.
All the main parties are saying they're going to win. And this is, of course, a coalition gone wrong. Could Metsimaholo at all be a litmus test of where the ANC is? Because everybody's interested in how strong that party is heading into the elective conference, or is this just one municipality? We shouldn't put too much on it.
Look, I think even at a national level, I think the main camps, if you look into the NDZ camp and the Cyril camp, they all suggest that they are on a winning streak, or it's a case of a neck and neck. Look, there's no other way of saying it, because they are the contesting parties, and therefore they must seem or sound to be like they are close to winning. They have to motivate their followers and build confidence. So they are bound to articulate themselves in that fashion.
Who do you think will win?
On which one?
Metsimaholo.
Look, it's not a good idea, to throw bones like that. But I think for me, in this country, we tend to be too serious about individual leaders. What South Africa needs is a strong grassroots organization that will be able to hold anyone that gets elected accountable to service delivery.
You were talking about this bravado, saying we've won, and let's look now at the bigger contest. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, the former AU chair, they're both saying that they are basically winning at the elective conference, and we have no idea of knowing.
Look, the best, let me put it this way. The best way to understand this race of the election of the ANC on who will become the president, it is not so much a reflection on what the two individuals, their capacities and abilities entail. It is who is driving their campaign. So if it depends on how strong is the faction that is driving them. At this point in time, the two factions are fairly strong. Fairly 50-50 in terms of strength, and therefore the campaign itself is going to manifest, that factor. So I know that when was it, yesterday or the day before, the nominations closed, but there's still going to be some serious campaign at the conference itself, and some people might change their minds. And so, so some people might decide that, look, this is a secret ballot, and therefore we are not going to vote in accordance to what we've been mobilized to do. So we don't know. I think there's still that last stretch of mobilization and campaigning and decampaigning that's going to take place.
So I'm frustrated, because usually you would get, or I would think you would be able to see which branches have nominated which candidate, and you'd know what should happen. Right now we don't know what should happen. We have claims from the two camps themselves, the two campaigns, saying they're both doing very, very well. If we knew who the branches had nominated, do you think it could be a completely different picture?
Look, it could still change at the conference. Because
there's lobbying down to the last second.
There's some serious lobbying that happens at the actual, conference. And I think one of the things that they should possibly do this year is to ban cell phones at the voting booths. Because sometimes when the lobbying takes place and people are asked or lobbied or even paid to vote certain candidates, then they have to present a proof by the pictures that they take of their ballot paper. I think this time around, as part of dealing with this, the usage of money to win this vote, I think they should ban, cell phones, from the voting station, and the booths. But for me, there's still some things to be done there in terms of lobbying, campaigning, and the de-campaigning. And we are not in a position to know. In fact, the top 6 of the leadership, by the way, the main leaders in the ANC, they can't even tell us. They can't even tell society because they are part of the contestants. So we wouldn't be able to know whether they are sharing information or they are campaigning.
Yeah, or
de-campaigning.
Doing that bravado thing.
Yeah.
Finally, what province are you really watching? We're getting a picture. We know KwaZulu-Natal is with Dlamini Zuma. The Eastern Cape, many provinces, huge factions, and those leadership battles seem to reflect support for one or the other candidates. And then Mpumalanga.
Well, the initial campaign that everyone looked at was KZN. Because the assumption was that everyone there was going to rally behind NDZ. But whoever decided to divide that province might have done a very good job, because suddenly it got about three or two, candidates. And then suddenly there was a shift that says in Mpumalanga, David Mabuza is a kingmaker. But the substance of lobbying and advocacy at the grassroots level debunks that notion that Didi Mabuza is actually the kingmaker, because there are some people like your Jackson Mthembu that are working tirelessly in the mobilization of various branches to support, alternative candidates. So for me, Mpumalanga remains interesting, and yet I don't think Didi will come up necessarily as the kingmaker, partly because I'm not convinced that the entirety of the ANC voting delegates in Mpumalanga will necessarily dance to his tune.
Yeah, and the power is with the branch delegates. Thank you so much for your analysis, Dumisani Hlophe, for us, and that's a wrap from our look at the leadership race.